Zion Williamson was arguably the most dominating high school basketball player we've ever seen. The only other player who comes close to being as such a dominating force and factor is maybe LeBron James. It just wasn't normal to see a guy at that size do the things he was doing on the court. Zion was literally a human tank, and I think the best way to describe him is a freight train. In high school, he was 6'6", 275 pounds, but here's what made him so unique and such a one-of-a-kind player and generational talent. Nobody, and I mean nobody, who is 6'6", 270 pounds should be able to move the way he was moving in high school and even on the college level. There's only one way to describe it. Zion Williamson is a one of one. You'll never see a player like him again in your life. I want you to understand what made him so special wasn't that he was 6'6", 270 pounds. What made him so special is he was insanely athletic and had explosive abilities like we've never seen. You know how most bigger guys had that rugged play style where they're kind of too big for their body? Well, Zion sort of moved like a point guard. To be as big as he was kind of smooth with it, and his game looked so graceful whenever he was flying in the air, jumping over defenders left and right. And that's what took his game to another level, cause yeah, they try to take charges and get in his way, but he could avoid them and simply just jump over them. In high school, he was averaging well over 36 points per game, and if he wanted to, he could have put up 50 every single night. Nobody really knew what to think about him. Yeah, of course, we knew he was great, but you didn't see comparisons to Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe, or anybody like that, for the main reason that his play style didn't match anyone's like we've ever seen before. Most and oftentimes when we see these 5-star recruits, #1 players in the country, we try to find an NBA comparison, whether it's Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Kobe, or you get the point. For Williamson, it was kind of hard because we've never seen anybody like him before. That's what made him so special though. Every single college team in the country, they were drooling over him and wanting him to go to their school, but ultimately, he decided to go to Duke. When he got to Duke, everybody was saying, oh, he's not going to be able to do all that stuff he was doing in high school at the college level. It's a different game. And man, oh man, they couldn't have been any more wrong. He continued to shine and put on a show at the college level, and he was more than fantastic, and that solidified himself with the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. There was a few people being skeptical and asking the question if he deserved to be the #1 pick, and there was a lot of naysayers. But once again, at the NBA level, he continued to shut them up and prove all the doubters wrong. His NBA career started out hot. He had a 10-game stretch where he scored over 20 points every single game. In the next season, he was named as an All-Star. So at this point in time, everything was looking at an all-time high for him, and it couldn't have got much better. That did hold true up until this most recent year. During the offseason in 2021, he was supposed to have what many people labeled as a quote-unquote minor surgery. According to the team's sources, he was supposed to come back in no time, and he was only going to miss a few games here and there. There was also some reports that he was projected to come back at the start of the season, and in worst case scenario, he'd come back in October. October rolls around, and then they go, oh, we're going to push it back to December. No big deal. Next thing you know, it's December, and they push it back once again, and you know how it goes. They continue to push it back and push it back. During this injury break for Zion, there was also rumors going around that he was weighing upwards to 300 pounds, and some said 330 pounds. Now yes, there was some pictures leaked out and they did look concerning, but maybe it was just a bad angle. Saying he got all the way up to 330 pounds might be pushing it, but 300, I could somewhat believe it. He was looking big. When you put 2 and 2 together, it's also really believable. Zion, he's a big guy, so he eats a lot, and he's also not working out because he has an injury. It doesn't just go for Zion, it goes for me, you, every single human. When you don't work out and you eat a lot of food, you're gonna gain a lot of weight. But here's the real problem with all this. Nobody knows where he's at, what he's doing, and what's going on. It's almost like he's disappeared. If you don't want to take my word for it, last night at the All-Star event, CJ McCollum said that exact thing himself. The TNT crew asked him about Zion and if he's heard anything about him, and he said, quote unquote, I know about as much as you do right now, but I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Zion fans, Pelican fans, and NBA fans, they aren't too happy with Zion and they think it's his fault. Some people are saying stuff like, Zion is supposed to be a leader. Dude is nothing like that nor shows any love for the game of basketball. And also saying, CJ is super cool, this is on Zion. The reason some fans are mad is because they feel like if Zion is supposed to be the franchise and the face of the Pelicans, he should be reaching out to his new teammates, right? But instead of reaching out to his teammates working on basketball, he's nowhere to be found. It's also kind of strange and fishy to me at least how you have a minor surgery and you're supposed to be back in October and yet you still haven't played a game. I understand if the surgery's going slow and you come back in December or January, but it's been 4 to 5 months. Look, I get it. The rehab process, it's different for everybody and it can be slow at times, but when you have the resources these NBA players have, there's no excuse for what's going on with Zion to be happening. What makes it even more interesting is there's a rumor going on that maybe it's not the injury, he's just out of shape. Regardless of that and regardless of what you believe, you can't deny the fact that there is definitely some fishy stuff going on. So therefore, it leaves us with the question today: what really happened to Zion Williamson? What's good, y'all? Hope you're having a good day. Just want to come by real quick. This video took a long time to make, so I'd greatly appreciate if you join our family, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't hurt you, and if you just want to unsubscribe later, you can do so. Look, man, help us out, help our community grow. We're on the road to 200K, and we can't get there without you. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. If not, that's cool too. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Zion freaking Williamson, man, I remember coming home from high school and watching his hoop mixtape Ball is Life videos, sitting to myself thinking, what in the heck did I just witness? When you saw his high school games on YouTube, you could do nothing more than just sit there and try to admire greatness. I don't know if he was just that good or the opponents he was playing was that bad. Maybe it was a combination of both, but he looked like a superhuman out there. It'd be like Giannis Antetokounmpo playing in high school. Behind every story and behind every downfall, there's a backstory. And to get into this story, we gotta throw it all the way back to where things started. When Mr. Zion was growing up, he attended Spartanburg Day School in South Carolina. When he was in 8th grade playing for his school, he wasn't this dominating force just yet that we would become to know on a regular basis. Believe it or not, he was only 5'9" in 8th grade, but in that offseason going into 9th grade, he grew all the way up to 6'3". It doesn't seem like a huge difference, but going from 5'9" to 6'3" in one summer, that's about 5 to 6 inches. In 9th grade, he would also play AAU basketball with a guy a lot of you may know that goes by the name of Ja Morant. I guess you could say it's a small world, and who would have thought that Ja Morant would have been taking over the NBA by now. For those of you that don't know this, Ja Morant in high school only had a couple of offers here and there, but that's a different story for a different day. It didn't take Zion too long to assert his dominance. As only a freshman, he averaged 24.4 points per game, 9.4 rebounds, 2.8 assists, and 3.5 steals, and 3 blocks. This man was stuffing the stat sheet, and he was only in 9th grade. Around this same time, his coaches, his teammates, everybody involved was like, yo, this guy could be really good one day. Remember, in 9th grade, he was 6'3". Going into his 10th grade season, he grew another 3 inches and was now listed at 6'6". He's cheating because most people, they have one growth spurt. He had 2 to 3. In his 10th grade year, he improved and jumped up all of his stats and numbers. He averaged 28.3 points per game, 10.4 rebounds, nearly 4 blocks, and 2.7 steals. Before we go any farther, I want you to understand at this point in time in our story, he was looked at as a top recruit, but the next year is when his entire just social media presence took off. I said present, I meant presence. You get what I'm trying to say. In his junior season is probably when you saw his mixtapes on YouTube. That was when Ball is Life and all these hoop mixtape companies were going to his games. Do I even have to explain how he played his junior and senior season? I think you saw the videos. The best way to describe it is if LeBron James went to his local Boys and Girls Club and decided to play pickup basketball. He looked like a full-out NBA player and grown men out there against kids. When it was all said and done for his junior season, listen to these numbers. He averaged a whopping 36.8 points per game, 13 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2.5 blocks. Most times when you hear about a guy averaging 36.8 points per game, he's more than likely shooting 25 or 20 something shots. On the other hand, for Williamson, and what made him so special even in college and the NBA, is he doesn't take a lot of shots to get his points. There's not an official stat number, but I'd say he only took about maybe 15 shots a game. Most of his quote-unquote shot attempts were dunks and alley-oops. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say every single game he was going either roughly 12 for 15 or 13 for 15 from the field. He'd also get a lot of points from the free throw line because you didn't have a choice, you had to foul him. Fast forward in time to his senior year, it was a carbon copy and paste. He averaged 36.4 points per game, 11 rebounds, 3.5 assists. There wasn't a single doubt in anybody's mind, he was the #1 prospect, and according to ESPN, he was the #1 player in the country. Well, technically, and I know there's going to be some people comment this, RJ Barrett was just ahead of him, but that's because at the end of the year, he reclassified. And I still didn't understand understand how RJ was ahead of him, Zion, he's my number one, and we're just gonna say he was number one for the sake of this video. When he got to Duke, he didn't even hit a speed bump. He continued to have the same success at high school as he did at the college level. My biggest takeaway from that Duke team, who was loaded and also had RJ Barrett, is I never understood the hype around RJ. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Barrett wasn't a great player, but I never understood why people were saying he's better than Zion. He just wasn't. There was a lot of times I'd get mad because they'd say, oh, well, RJ's averaging more points than Zion, and that's because he's shooting 25 shots a game. All throughout the season, Zion and RJ was averaging about the same points per game, but Zion was doing it more efficiently. I wanted to get that rant out the way. Let me know in the comment section if you know what I'm talking about. I just simply felt like RJ was too overvalued and too overhyped. I never understood why late in the games they let RJ shoot the shot when Zion can go to the rim and create a foul or get a bucket. Anyways, despite that, Duke still had an outstanding season. In 33 games played, Zion started every single one. And this right here is what I'm talking about. He had a field goal percentage of 68%, and yes, that's right, you heard me correctly. He shot 68% from the field. One of the biggest knocks on him going into college is that he can't stretch the floor and he can't shoot the three ball, and he did pretty good. No, he didn't shoot lights out, but he shot good enough where the defense had to step out there on him. You couldn't just leave him open because if you did, he had that flat-footed jump shot where he could shoot it like a free throw. I'm just calling it how it was. He was lining his three-pointers up like free throws. Overall for the year, he shot 33.8% from the three-point line, and you definitely take that. When it was all said and done for his one and only season at Duke, he averaged 22.6 points per game, 2 assists, and 8.9 rebounds. As a freshman who had as many expectations on him as Zion did, you couldn't ask for any better season. There's not too much more to say about his college career. Let's get into what happened after. As we all know, he would then enter the NBA draft where he was picked number 1 by the Pelicans. There was some debate and controversy over who would be the number 1 pick. Should it be RJ Barrett, Ja Morant, or Zion? I personally think they got it right. Zion, he's the number 1 pick and he's a generational talent. You just can't pass on him. RJ was more of a risk, and even Ja Morant, he was a risk. And some of you saying, oh, well, Ja Morant, he's having a better career, and yeah, but you didn't know he'd have that career when you were drafting the players. So therefore, I believe the Pelicans got it right, and at first, it looked like the Cinderella story. Zion was going out there in his freshman season, and he was balling out. In his first season, he did have somewhat of a minor setback where he tore his meniscus, but he came back in 3 months and didn't skip a beat. In his first NBA game, I remember it like it was yesterday. He had 17 points in a 3-minute span against the San Antonio Spurs. In this ball game, he played 18 minutes, had 22 points, 7 rebounds. You couldn't have had a better start to an NBA career. And also in his first 8 games, in 6 of them, he had over 20 points. He was once again doing what he did his entire career, prove the doubters wrong. Every time somebody questioned if he was gonna do everything he did at the previous level at the next level, he did it. When he was going to college, what was the dilemma? Oh, he's not going to dunk over people at the next level, he's not going to be able to shoot and blah 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 blah, and what do you know, he did it. Deja vu, it was the same thing at the NBA level. Everybody's saying, oh, he's not going to be this dominating force, everybody in the NBA, they're too big, too strong, and they're going to make him shoot. And well, what do you know, he continued to dominate the NBA level. Or maybe not dominated, but he was definitely a force to be reckoned with. In his rookie season, he only played in 24 games, but I'd say he was fabulous. He shot over 58% from the field, listen to this number, 42.9% from the three-point line, and averaged 22.5 points per game. Whoa, hold on. Shooting nearly 43% from the three-point line is ridiculous. Granted, he didn't take a lot of threes, but when he did, the numbers don't lie, he made them. The man was flat out balling, flat out hooping, whatever you want to call it, and everybody was raving about him how he's the next big thing. However, the question going into his sophomore season was that, okay, the NBA knows what he can do, they know his strengths and weaknesses, so can he adapt to it, and can he still dominate? And in his second season, I'm just going to let his numbers do all the talking. In 61 games played, he averaged 27 points per game, 7 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists. And here's the thing I want you to understand. He was doing it efficiently. He shot over 61% from the field. Now, his three-point percentage did take a hit. It was only 29.4%. The three-point percentage is not that bad. As long as he can keep it respectable, he's going to be okay. He's not known as this lights-out three-point shooter, and that's not his play style. Once again, though, there we have it. Like his entire career, he had another great year. He made the All-Star game, and things were at an all-time high, and many were saying he could potentially be one of the best ever at his position. But things quickly, and I mean quickly, started to go downhill very fast. In the offseason of 2021, like we started started earlier in this video, he was supposed to have a minor surgery. The surgery was supposed to be for a fractured foot, and it wasn't supposed to be a big deal. After he had his surgery in September, the team officials said they were hopeful he would return by the start of the season. But then, what do you know? The start of the season, it's starting to come up, and they say, oh, well, he's not going to come back till October. Then October turns into December, then December turns into who knows when. But now the up-to-date on his return timetable is sometime after All-Star break, but who knows if even that's going to happen. I want you to pay attention to this. In an article it says, on December 16th, the Pelicans announced that Williamson would be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks after receiving an injection in his right foot. Not too long after that statement, actually only 3 weeks after that statement, the Pelicans provided an update on January 5th that Zion is continuing to rehab on his own, but he's doing it away from the team. Is that not kind of strange to you guys? Maybe it's just me. He's announcing, okay, I'm still gonna rehab, I'm just not doing it with you guys. Was there a fallout there? Is there complications going on? Who knows? And when I say who knows, I genuinely mean it, because even his teammates don't know what's going on. Recently in an interview, Zion Williamson came out with a statement and said this: as you can imagine, this has been a very difficult process for me. I know there's work to be done in my recovery before I can safely return to the court, but I will continue to put in the time necessary so I can get back on the floor with my team and represent Pelican fans in the city of New Orleans at the highest level. I don't keep up when players get hurt in the injury process, so let me know in the comment section, is it normal for NBA players to rehab but do it away from the team? I genuinely don't know. I just think it's odd, but listen to this. On February 10th, the Pelicans vice president came out and said this: Zion continues to progress well and he feels very good. We hope that towards the end of next week or beginning of the following, we'll have some imaging done and have a better update. I mean, yeah, it's an update, but is it really? He didn't say that much and the statement was vague. It'd be different if he said, oh yeah, he's coming back next week and he's going to do 4-on-4s, 3-on-3s, and 5-on-5s, but he didn't even say that. I honestly and solely believe we're probably not going to see Zion the rest of this season. You also got to throw this factor in there that apparently Zion is eating a lot of food and he's gaining a lot of weight. This right here, what I'm about to say, it's not a rumor, it's the truth, that he did in the offseason weigh over 300 pounds. The rumor that's went on the past couple of months is that apparently he's weighed over 330 pounds, and that's a big difference. You know, if a guy weighs 300, you can get him down, but 330, that's a problem. You even have analysts like Kendrick Perkins saying this: shut him down, there's no reason to even bring him back. The Pelicans are not going anywhere, and we all know it's more to the foot. It's more about Zion not being in shape. Go get some dietitian, get some things together in-house with Zion, get his body right, and bring him back next year. Wow, there we have it, and that's just one of them, but that's what everyone's pretty much saying. Everyone really believes it's not about the foot, it's more about Zion's just simply not in shape to play basketball. He definitely looks big, and I'd say he's around that 300 mark. You also got to take into account that he hasn't played a real game of basketball in over a year. Whenever he does come back, it doesn't matter if he is in shape, it's going to take a toll on his body. It's definitely a tricky situation because you don't want to push him to come back too fast when he's not ready, but at the same time it's like, come on, we're paying you this money, you're the #1 pick, you got to go out there and play. And the more he continues to not play, the more he's just simply not going to be in shape. So maybe to get him back into shape is to throw him out there when he's not in shape. I hope that makes sense. The foot situation itself is mind-boggling and odd, and the weight situation is odd. I think it goes hand in hand, and if Zion doesn't get a better diet program or just simply lose weight, his basketball career might be in jeopardy. You can't be a 6'7", 300-pound guy who jumps as high as him and is explosive as much as him and go out there and expect not to get hurt. And honestly, that right there is what scares me the most about his basketball career. You got all that weight falling down on him, and he's so explosive, and just explosive players, we've seen it with Derrick Rose. They're going to get hurt. It's just a matter of time. Guys that have that quick twitch and fast twitching ability and are always jumping in the air, they're bound to get hurt. But you know how you counter that? You know how you can prevent injuries? You do exactly what LeBron James has done throughout his entire career. I'm not going to look it up. I'm sure you guys have heard this, but LeBron spends something like nearly $1.5 million on his body every single year. Say what you want about the man, but he knows how to take care of his body and stay in shape. And for that reason right there, that is why throughout his career, he hasn't had that many injuries, or devastating ones. Yeah, we're seeing him have injuries now, but he's getting old, and that happens at the end of everybody's career, no matter how good you take care of your body. The fact that Zion Williamson is only 21 years old and he's having all these injury problems, it's concerning. And if he doesn't decide to start taking care of his body right now, he's gonna have many more. I'm not wishing him to have many more, I'm just telling you the cold hard truth. I hope he doesn't have any more. Whoa, 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 hold on. How can we forget to bring up what CJ McCollum said last night? CJ is a teammate of Zion, and yet they don't even talk, and he knows nothing about him or when he's coming back. It'd be different if Zion was a role player, but this dude is the face of the franchise. I do gotta be honest, I don't think too much about that like a lot of people are. They're claiming that Zion, he should reach out to all of his new teammates. It is what it is. I don't care if I wasn't the face of the franchise. If I got a new teammate, especially like CJ McCollum, I'd definitely reach out to him and talk to him. And we don't gotta be best friends, but I'd give him an up-to-date on my injury problems. You know, something simple like, hey man, I'm gonna be back soon. The fact that they haven't even talked about it is also another red flag. That also leads me into my next and final point perfectly. A lot of people are questioning if Zion Williamson even loves basketball or likes it. Who am I to judge if Zion loves basketball or not? I don't know the guy, but here's what I am going to say. If you do love someone or something and it's important to you, you're going to give it all you got. And with Zion being overweight and it's apparent that he hasn't taken too good care of his body, maybe it's not that important to him. Maybe he just wanted all those millions of dollars to help out his family, and I can't blame the guy. And now he doesn't have any more motivation. That happens a lot because once you get $20-30 million, what motivates you? If you don't really love the game, then you're not going to care too much to take care of your body. If you don't love the game, you're also not going to care too much to have a good connection with your teammates. And if you don't love the game, you're also not going to care too much to rehab with your own team. There's a lot of stuff going on with Zion Williamson currently. A lot of that being interesting, at least to me. Let me know your thoughts down below. But with all that being said, that's gonna wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.